click on. Okay. Okay, hopefully now we are actually live. But I'm not sure we're in the craft stamp colour group. If anyone can actually see me or hear me.
I can see you and hear you.
Oh yeah, we're there now. Okay, let me get rid of that post. Is it in the group, Chris, as well?
I don't know how to get there.
Okay, let me try it again. It might work this time now. No, it's still not. It looks like it's posting though already. I think I'm actually in there already. Oh, Natalie, yeah, you can see me. Thank you, Natalie. Oh my goodness, the joys of new technology. Okay. So at least we're working though. That's good. I found this new software and it was meant to be easier than what I normally use. And actually it was, but I think it's just the fact that it's the first time I've used it. So anyway, hello and thank you for joining me. So you'll have to bear with me if I go a little bit wrong along the way because, you know, I'm like with technology. You wouldn't believe I was quite techie, would you? But this, oh, all your comments have suddenly appeared. Hello, everybody. So hi, Lynn, Jacqueline, and then Kelly. Who else is here? I've got a lot of Facebook users. I don't know your name. Sorry, I've got the... Oh, I can go across all these different places. I'm in like 6 different places. It's exciting. Elaine, can only get you on my phone today. Well, I'm on the page. So I'm on the business page. We had a few issues. Elaine, it might be worth going back into the group because I had issues posting into the group, but it is there now. It is working there now. So anyway, hello. So I was only 8 minutes late today. And I've missed you all. I'm so sorry. It's been about 3, I think it's been about 3 weeks or even maybe 4 weeks since I've been here with you. So I do apologise. I've got no excuse other than for 2 weeks, 2 and a bit weeks, my hands were really playing up after the Ho Chanda shows. They were bad before I went on air, actually, but they were even worse after, and I could barely even pick anything up. So I've been struggling with that, so I just couldn't craft. And then yesterday I was actually over on Craftwell Live, so they kind of stream at 3 o'clock every single Thursday, so I had to budges again. So we're back on track now, so hopefully we should be back on track every week, and it will go back to our Thursday at 2 slot because I think that's a really good slot for everybody. So anyway, I'm just going to check that all my cameras are working because you know what it's like, this camera. I'm just going to switch over here. Can you... Oh, it is working. Yay. Fabulous. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to go straight into it instead of all my waffle. So if you've got comments, just leave them for me, and I'll try and pick them all up. And I'm going to do what I usually do and kind of not ignore them, but I'm just going to come to them sort of at an appropriate point, if you like. So what I want to do today is we're going to have a look at digis, and I really wanted to... I don't know if I've already done this with you guys or not and done like a screen share with you, but I really want to sort of drill down into it a little bit this week, and we're going to actually make a card from scratch, but I'm going to show you how to actually do it in Microsoft Word, and we're kind of going to go quite slow and do it properly, and I'm going to show you some really great techniques. And you know, apologies if I have shown you this before. I'm not sure if I have, but it's the biggest thing that people ask me is, how do I resize my images? So hopefully you can all see my screen. Can someone just confirm that you can actually see my screen for me? Hope. Oh no, hang on. I don't know if I've shown it to you. There you go. I think you can see it now. This is new, this thing, and yeah. Okay. So, what I'm gonna do, just checking. So you can all see my actual screen here with this word. Kim Simpson, good morning. That's okay, lovely. Thank you for joining me and saying hello. It's lovely to see you. Who's that? I use Streamlabs, always wants to update. Yeah, everything always wants to update, doesn't it? And the thing is, everything's so expensive. We're trying to find, if you're using Streamlabs, look for this. It's called Melon. So it's called Melon Live Stream. And you can actually connect Streamlabs into it as well. But it actually is, it's being quite, oh, I'm going to just, well, I'll leave that there, this little thing. This is like, you can see my hand here, look. So, okay, let's get on then. So I don't want to waffle on too much. Yeah, you can see the screen, great. Okay, so I am going to be working in Microsoft Word. Now, hopefully, if you've got any kind of computer or even a device, it might be your iPad or whatever, even your Android, hopefully you've got access to Word. And I know on some PCs, you might only have like a very scaled down version. If you don't have Microsoft Word, then you can get a free version of that, which is called, oh my goodness, what's it called? Uh, ugh, do you know when something's just completely gone out of your mind? I had it a minute ago. Ah, what's happened? Is it called OpenWorks? Oh, gosh. Right, I'm gonna have to. I'll find it for you in a little while. It's called. It's. Oh gosh, can't think on the. There's a free version of it out there. So if you just put free version of Microsoft Office, it'll come up on Microsoft Word. It'll come up. I think it's called OpenWorks. I'm just having a senior moment, which is not surprising, is it? So, the great thing about using Word, Open Office. That's it. Thank you, whoever said that. I know it was something to do with Open. I was thinking of Microsoft Works, wasn't I? Yeah, Open Office. So anybody can get Open Office. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually open up an image here, a digi, and I'm going to use the blooms because I feel I'm kind of in a bit of a florally mood. So what I want to do is kind of show you exactly what my process is when I actually want to make a specific type of card. So I'm just dragging this image into Word, and you can see that when I click on it here, I get all these like little little corner buttons. And I know a lot of you all know this already, but just in case you don't, there's always new people that are joining us all the time. So if you click on the bottom right corner here, and I'm gonna do this as if I was kind of like teaching my mum, because my mum is not very good on a computer at all. You know, she's kind of getting a little bit older now and everything, and you know, she had nothing to do with computers really until 10 years ago. And you know, so I'm going to teach, you know, it's not patronizing. I just want to make sure that I share everything that I know with anybody that needs that information. And please, if you do have any questions, don't feel scared to ask. No question is stupid. You know, when you've been dealing with computers as long as I have, you know, you kind of take things for granted. And I remember when my mum first got her computer, she didn't even know how to click the mouse. And I had to kind of be going, Mum, no, just click it. And she was like, I don't know what you mean. Click what? Click what? You know, I'd be like, you need, and you have to actually break it down and say, actually press that. So you're going to actually press your mouse and hold it on this little corner tick here, down on the bottom corner, this little box. And that actually allows you to resize, but it resizes it uniformly. So you know it doesn't squash or anything like that, but it only does that on that bottom right click. If you actually go to the middle click here, to the middle little button there, and try to do it there, it squashes it down, look. So it actually enlarge it, so you can enlarge it that way. You can narrow it that way, look. You can go from the top there and squash it down that way. You can click on each single angle, does something different. So this top left one, that really makes it, I mean, I'm zooming in and out, but that kind of makes it large and small as well. And the same with this one here. So the corners are what enlarge it, and the middle buttons are what actually distorts it. So I've distorted that image a little bit there. And so I'm going to go back to my original image. So this was the original size that it came in at. And you can either do this by going, you go file, usually what I do is go insert up here, and you can go pictures, and then you select from your photo browser or from wherever you have it. Or you can just drag it in as well. So if you have your main window open in Microsoft, in your Windows Explorer, or in your Finder if you're on a Mac. I'm actually using a Mac, but I'm still using Word OK and everything. If you're on Mac, then again, you need to use OpenOffice if you don't have a copy of Word on there as well. But you can also do this within your Mac Word versions, which is Pages and all of that kind of stuff. So you'll see here that I've actually got 2 pages open here, and the way that I do that is I go to view here, and you can either select it on 1 page or you can select it on 2. And the reason I've gone to multiple pages there is because obviously when I select 1 page, I can't see my image, and it's gone on to the next page here for some reason, and I can't move that, look. It's not letting me move it, or oh, it is letting me drag it up onto the next. No, it isn't. Look, it won't let me drag it up onto the first page. And the reason for that, oh, it has done it. The reason, but you can see how awkward it was, and the reason is because it opens it. It automatically opens the image as a full page image. And that's because our images are called a PNG file. So it's .png. And all that means is that that image file is a much higher quality than if you just got a JPEG. So having that enables me, look, I can zoom this in. So this is A4 or 8.5 by 11. And look how much I can zoom this in before it starts going all pixelated. If you had a JPEG file, you would not be able to do that very easily unless, well, it's virtually impossible, because a JPEG file is kind of, oh gosh, how can I explain it? It's not a low resolution, but it's the way the image is made. It's not very good for enlarging anything. It's okay for if you want to make it smaller, but if whoever you've bought it from hasn't made that image really big to start off with, you're never going to be able to get a good quality image. So it's really important to me that we give you these PNG files. And also what happens with those is that you have a clear background. So I'm going to just go up here and put in a shape. I'm going to draw a rectangle, and this is what's great about Word, because look, it's letting me do everything here. So I'm drawing a rectangle. Now it's obliterated my image there, but if I right click and then go down to here, I can go to center back, and oops, doesn't always work. So send backwards, no, let's try it again. Send behind text. Okay, so there's no text on here, and I've got 2 there for some reason. Oh, there it is. It's because I've duplicated by a mistake. So I've now sent that behind. Now you see how you're seeing all of the blue here. That's because I've given you a PNG file. And what that means is that there is no background. Well, you can have a white background. Some companies will do a PNG file and it will still have a white background. But ours don't. So this is like a clear, transparent background behind this image. And that means that if you wanted to, you can actually place that image on top of something else and see what's behind it. which is just phenomenal as a crafter. It makes everything so much more versatile and user friendly. Now look, I still can't move this image around. So what I'm going to do, and this is all, I mean, we're going really slow and really back to basics here, so I hope I'm not boring you all to death. But basically I'm going to right click on the image, then I'm going to go to wrap text, and I'm going to choose behind text. Okay, and as soon as I do that, and you can do it with in front of text as well, it doesn't really matter which one you choose, they just do slightly different things. But as soon as I do that, I can move this wherever I want on this page, look. So now I'm completely editable now. I can take it wherever I want on the page, and that's just fab. So I'm going to get rid of that box, and in fact, actually, I don't want to get rid of that box. I'm just going to leave it there. Let me just undo. I've lost it anyway. Oh, there it is. God, my computer's a bit slow. I think it's because I'm streaming. So what I want to do is, are you all following along with me? And am I being too boring? Let me know. I don't want to teach anyone to suck eggs. But I just think it's really important, because I know how many times I literally get asked this question every day. How do I edit my image? You know, I think I've had 3 emails today asking me, how do I edit my image? How do I open it? How do I use it with Cricut? How do I use it with a silhouette machine? All of these questions are the main questions that we always get asked. And so the first stage of that, I think, is understanding how to actually edit it here, so that you can make it do things that make your crafting easier for you and make it perform for how you want it and what you want it to be. Because the whole joy of a digital stamp, obviously, is that you have it for life anyway, as far as I'm concerned. And unless we lose the website for some reason, or we swap websites and we can't transfer everyone's accounts over, that's a possibility. But as long as we have this website, you have lifetime access, so you're never going to lose it. And you know that it's really versatile, and you can use it in lots of different ways. So what we're going to do now, I'm a bit obsessed at the minute about these big blousey cards, and I know I've done a couple of videos where we've done some really nice big blousey, I call them blousey florals, because they remind me of those big kind of like peonies. And oh my gosh, I do love, they are my favorite flower ever, peonies. I can't grow them though. I've got 2 pots in my garden, and neither of them are growing anything. But anyway, never mind, we won't talk about it. It's all subjects. And if I've got time, I'll tell you about the mint and the coriander later. So I want to do a card where I'm going to enlarge this image and make it really big and easy to color, because that's the thing, it makes it easy to color if you can actually take the image from being really small to really large. So I'm here on an A4 sheet here. I've already set that size up, and A4 is pretty much almost the same size as 8.5 by 11 if you're in the US. So I want to make an A6 card, which is a 4 by 6. And I know that a 4 by 6 is basically a quarter of an A4. So to make this really easy for me to do, I'm going to, this rectangle that I've created here, I'm going to actually try and size this onto my page here. So I'm going to just take that and I'm going to copy and paste it. Might take a minute. There you go. And I'm going to lay that next to it there. So I'm pretty much more or less a quarter there. And then I'm going to move it down here into this thing here. And what you can do is, if you need to do like fine adjustments, use your up and down and your arrow keys. So this is pretty much, I know here that I'm pretty much halfway, and I'm pretty much halfway here as well. Maybe slightly halfway is probably, I mean, you can see there on the screen that it does give you the measurements. So the width is 10.34. Now an A4 is 21 centimeters wide, so that's pretty near enough for me. I'm pretty happy with that. And I'm just going to move that back so my point's meeting in the middle. So I know I've got 4 pretty even. They're not exactly accurate, but it'll do. And then my image here. So this is what I'm doing is I'm laying out my card. So on an A4 or an 8.5 by 11, we're going to get 2 cards out of this if we folded the card in half. So this is actually where my card, the front page of my card is going to be. And so I want this image to be really nice and big. I just want it to be huge. So I'm going to do it like this. Okay. And I'm not bothered because obviously we're going to fold it down here, but I'm going to show you how to get rid of all of this extra to make this easier. So this to me is the easiest way to resize something perfectly for a card, whatever card size you want. So even if you were doing a 6 by 6 card, do it this way. Make your page a 12 by 12 inch page. So go into your page setup and make your page. So where you've got your A4, go to a custom size and then actually set your own custom size paper, because it doesn't matter that your printer won't take it. It's about us manipulating the image and getting the image the right size in the first place. We'll go back and resize it after we've done that. So anyway, so my image is there, and then I want to actually add a sentiment. Now, the really great thing about working in Word is it makes it so easy to add sentiments. So if you want to add a sentiment, the best way to do that, bear with me, obviously you can just type. So we could just type here, happy birthday. Okay. But the only thing is then with that, it's quite hard to actually kind of do anything with that text. What you're going to do with it, you're going to have to like move this down, and then it's going to move all the box and everything else. So personally, I wouldn't do it that way. I would like literally, let's take that out. Oops, I've taken my box away, but never mind. Never mind. I know kind of where it is. I can see where it should be. So now what I want to do is I'm going to actually go in, and we need to actually insert a text box. So bear with me, I've forgotten where it is. Text box there. So we're going to go in and add a text box. Okay, and I've got a bit of space here, and I'm going to add my text in there. So it draws, you draw a box where you want it to go, and then we're going to actually add some text. So happy birthday, and we'll just select that, go back to home, and we can then make that whatever size we want. We can adjust our font and do what we want in there. And you see how much easier that is, like, because I can move that around like if I wanted to. Now, by default, the text box adds a white background and it adds a border, as you can see there. So we need to take that away. And all you need to do here is go into your shape options over here, text options. Sorry, the easy way to do it is here. So right click and then go format shape. And then we can tell it that we don't want any fill. So it's going to remove the fill. If I move that, look, it's removed the fill. And then we need to take the line off. So we want no line either. So now if I show you there, now that's just completely editable text that we can move around wherever we want it to go. So, you know, that's perfect because you can literally tailor make your message how you want it to be for whoever you're sending it to. You know, and if you're selling at a craft fair, think about it. If you're selling at a craft fair and, you know, someone comes up, I used to have this all the time when I first started making cards and selling them. And I used to actually take my laptop, and people will come up to me and say, oh, I love this card, but can you put Janice on it or Grandad on it or whatever? And I used to have my laptop and I used to go, yeah, that's fine, but can you come back in half an hour for me? And I had a laptop and I had a little printer underneath, like a little cheap printer that I used to have under the table. And I literally used to just you could use your digits and you could make a card specifically for that person actually at the fair, and you could charge that person a fortune for it, because it's completely bespoke and custom made. Now, what I want to do here is I want to actually draw. I don't want that sentiment. I love this sentiment out of that collection. So also the stamps I'm using here, the digits I'm using, are from the Blooms collection. So look, I've dragged in the sentiment, but again, it's not moving. So what do I need to do? I need to go to wrap text and go either behind or in front of text, and then it allows me to actually move it. Okay. And then I can position that where I want it to be. So we're about ready to actually print this and start colouring it. Now, obviously, if you wanted to, you don't even need to colour this yourself. You could be actually using a pre-coloured one as well. So again, here's the pre-coloured image. We're going to go wrap text behind. It drags it up here. And now look, I could easily, if I change my mind and I want that in colour, I can easily just remove that. I would just go in and delete that image out and just move it for now. But look how easy it is to actually create a card that you can just print. You can just print this off. And, you know, if you're selling your cards at fairs, I would love you to be able to do this. It would be perfect. So let's get rid of that for now. We'll go with the coloured one. Now, the one thing that is going to happen, though, is if we print this, that we're going to fold it down here, and then this is going to go onto the back, which isn't going to look great. So to get around that, what we're going to do is we're going to right click and we're going to bring this box to the front so it actually hides the digi. And then I'm going to actually copy and paste that, and I'm going to position it here. And like I said, just use your arrow keys to line it up if it's not quite lining up properly. So now if I print this, I'm going to end up with this, which is perfect and exactly how I want it. But these two boxes are going to print blue. So let's change that. So we're going to go format shape. And we do want the solid fill. But look, we want to change this. I'm going to change it to white. And it's got a line around it, so we need to change it to no line, and look, it vanishes. And so we're going to do the same again on here, no line. And now look what's happened. So now we can print this whole page out, and all we've got is this. And if you really wanted to, which, you know, would be a really good idea, is if you actually moved this down here, you could make two cards the same, basically. So, you know, you could do that. Bear in mind, we've got that behind there, that box. So you need a box behind there to block out that image. But what we can do, oops, let's take this one. We need to block out this image as well, look. So now you're not wasting any paper, and you can actually print out two cards at the same time. And all you've got to do is trim them in half and actually fold them down the side. So how cool is that? And that ultimately is how to manipulate and resize your images in Word. Now, there's lots of different things you can do in Word. If you go up to insert, you can add smart art, you can do all sorts of things in here. You can add ovals, lines. You can actually, if you go into this draw function here, you can actually draw. You can select what you want, and you can actually draw. Look, that's multicolored. How nice is that? So you could actually draw a heart. It's not easy to draw with a mouse, but you can do that. And if you want rid of it, you just click on it and go back. If you've got a stylus, you could actually just add a stylus and it'll pick up a pen in there. You know, there's all sorts of different things that you can do in here, but that draw function is quite good, and the insert function. So you can do all sorts of things in the insert. You can add objects. So, you know, you could this is another way that you could add extra things. So if you wanted to add another digi on, you could do it from the objects, but I would just drag it in, to be honest, or copy and paste it in or something like that. This is going to crash on me now. So, oops, I'm opening Excel, which I don't want to do. Let me just get rid of that. So, let me just escape. I think I've blocked my camera. Are you all there? You're all very quiet. I can't see any message, any comments. Are you all still following me? I've just got this awful thought that I've gone dead and I'm talking to myself here. So, I am going to go back to, where am I? I'm going to hide that and we're going to come back here. Now, I need to just bear with me because I've got a great big stupid, right, my Microsoft Word's crashed, so I'm just going to have to quit that out. So that was very timely. No, I don't want that to flash up. Thank you very much. Okay. It's restarting it, but I'm not going to do that. Right, okay. So, are you all still there? Let me know if you're still there. Okay, Elaine's still there, so I'm still going. That's cool. It was just, you were all really quiet. There was no comments for ages, so I just wanted to make sure you were all still there. So what I thought I would do is I've actually printed these already. Let me just zoom out a little bit so you can just, let me just go out a little tiny bit. I'm not sure that's very straight, but bear with me. It should be about right. Okay, so I've taken the same bundle, and what I've also done is actually printed here some of the papers. So these actually print out, I've sized these for an 8x8 for you. So okay, cool. So somebody's learned quite a few things you didn't know. Yeah, Word is just fab. It's fab. You don't need any other program. But yeah, it is. It's really good. I'm glad you've learned something. I learn something every time I go into it. There is so much in there, way more than I've shown you today. There are so many different things. So I've printed out a couple of papers to go with this, and these actually come with that, but with that flower bundle. I'm not sure what it's called. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's kind of like it's almost like a gerber or like sunflower daisies kind of thing. But I really love these papers. I think they're really nice. Is it dark in here? It seems, my screen seems really dark. I don't know if it's just the way I'm viewing it or whether it's a little dark. But anyway, so I've printed these off as well. And again, you can resize your papers. So Kelly, I use here in the office, we actually have a laser printer. So these are printed off. Do you know, they're not printed on the laser. These are printed on my inkjet. I have a little Canon Pixma inkjet printer, and I kind of, my laser prints my papers a little bit shiny. So, and I don't really like shiny papers, so I tend to print my papers on the inkjet if I can. But if I have to print a lot, I print them on the laser. But it's because I'm crafting for work rather than for home. So what I've actually done here, let me get rid of this, is I wanted to show you some of the other ways you can play around with it. So again, my A4 sheet, there's a similar image, but what I did, in fact, the same image, but I've actually laid 2 or 3 of these images on top of each other. And now look, this is why I wanted to do this, because if you wanted to make a big card, look, you've got a ready-made card. And look, okay, I've left that on there on purpose. I didn't actually hide that, but look, you could have hidden that with your box. So really nice. And like I said, that could be a pre-colored image. One of the trends that's around at the minute is just to have like have it in black and white, and just to have one little bit featured. I am going to craft, so I kind of do want to get on and not waffle too much, but I just really wanted to show you what I've been doing. So look, here's another one. So again, similar, same image, and this also shows you how versatile your digital stamps are, because you couldn't do this with stamp. Well, you could get a similar effect, but you can't resize it. All you can do is mask, and you know, it's not the easiest thing in the world to mask. If you're not a confident stamper, then it might not be something that you really like doing. So here we've got another one. So this is similar to what we've just done, and then this one I actually sized this because slimline cards are really and obviously I'm just folding this to get it to the right size to show you, but slimline cards are really popular at the minute, and I would probably have moved that down a bit there, but you can see that you could actually size it for a nice slimline card. And how difficult are they sometimes to actually lay out anyway? So here's another one. So this could be a really nice sympathy card, so doing it as a landscape instead. And there's a different one, a different slimline with a different digi, so the leaves, and then I've just added 2 of the others and resized them a little bit. So what I'm going to do is let's get cracking. So let's make something, shall we? So I'm going to trim this down and we'll do a little bit of colouring. It's Friday afternoon, we can have a little bit of a colour fest, I think, just for a change. And I'm just going to fold this in half, but I would obviously, this is on our 160 gram ultimate graphic paper, because I know you're all going to ask me what I use. But obviously you could be printing that straight onto your heavyweight cardstock if you wanted to. Obviously what you print on is going to affect how you colour it. You could be printing straight onto your watercolour cardstock. The Canon Pixma will print watercolour cardstock, heavyweight cardstock. Yeah, Elaine, that's not quite nice wrapping onto the back. It can be, yeah. And actually what you could do, if you think about it, you could actually purposely put something here to make a wraparound. So it would be quite nice. Jill, you still at work? That's a bit naughty. Watching videos while you're at work. I hope it's in your lunch break. Don't get into trouble. Right, okay, so let's go. And I'm going to do something really simple, because this was the whole point of me wanting to do. In fact, you know what? I don't want to do that one. I'm going to do a different one. Let me do a different one. I like this one, but I want to just trim that off a bit more so I don't have all that gap at the bottom. So yeah, I mean, the ideal thing would be that I would have put this onto cardstock so I didn't have to glue it, but I can just glue it in place. And if your cards, you know, if you struggle with your cardstock, just cut it out and then glue it down onto your card anyway, matte layer it. So I'm going to take my distress ink and this little blender. Do you know what? That's still not very big, that image, because I've kind of not got what I really wanted to do here. Never mind, it's okay, it'll work. It'll work. So I'm just going to take this ink, and even though this isn't watercolor paper, this ultimate graphic paper, you can really get some great effects on here. So, and it's pretty good for coloring with ink. So I use this all the time. I use the only cardstock I really use is this and watercolor card. So I'm just blending this on, and although it looks a little bit rough and ready, I actually quite like it like that. This is speckled egg, and I might just try and get a little bit more colour down in this bottom corner maybe. Don't want to go too overboard, but you can see I'm not even bothered. I'm going over the flowers, and that's actually going to give us quite a neat effect. So if you were colouring, I'm going to use Copic markers or alcohol markers, but if you were using pencils or anything else, it would give you just such a nice texture because it's going to come through what we're colouring. So that's all I want to do with that. I'm just going to wipe that bit of ink away so I don't get in a mess. Now, I think what we might do is, I coloured this yesterday and I did it in blues, and I think what we'll do today is we'll do it in pinks. So I'm going to grab a piece of paper and I'm just going to swatch the colours. So this is RV10, which is a really nice pale pink. That's lovely. It's kind of like a bit of a bubblegum pink. And then we've got a slightly darker one, which is RV11. And I'm just swatching these because I want to make sure that these are going to all blend really well. So I'm going to go back over with my RV10 and I want to make sure I can blend those two colours together. That actually doesn't quite look the right shade to me. It's kind of a bit of a dirtier colour. This one is RV32, which will definitely blend into that one, but it's kind of a bit, I don't know if it's actually the right colour that I'm looking for. I think I might have picked up the wrong one. So they are RVs. Okay, so I've got V, which is the really nice light pink there, which is going to blend to that one. And then I've got this one, which is RV52, and that's more of the, it's going into the lilac tones rather than the rosy tones here. But I don't like that one. It's gone a bit too violety. Let me see what we've got here. RV13, this is probably the one that I want. So, gosh, that's quite strong, isn't it? Okay. I haven't got all my colours here with me. So I've got lots of R's and no RVs. What's RV29 like? So this is how I swatch. So it doesn't matter how well I know my colours, I'm still going to actually swatch. So I've got V, that one, 13, which is that one, and I'm going to go to that one as well. And I might use 11, which is that middle one. Let's get that out of the way. Okay. So I think I'm quite happy with that. And I do it this way because then I know which colour's which before I actually open it. Because I do forget which colours are which. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually pick up the darkest colour. And we're going to actually go in and add some shadow into our flowers. And I'm just, let me zoom in for you. And I'm going to try and do it this way. Hello to anyone else that's joining us. Thank you for joining me. Do you know, it's a lovely day here today. It's been really cold all week and I've been freezing in the office. So I thought, last night I thought, right, I'm sick of being cold. I'm going to get my winter jumper out again. Got my jumper out, and of course, you know what happened? It's been really warm in here and I've had to take it off. It's just typical, isn't it? So I'm adding just that darker colour into the areas that I know I'm going to want some shadow. Turn your work around because we want to just have like little flicks. And a little bit under there because that's where the shadow will be, under there. And under there where that leaf curls a little bit. And then we're going to have these deep tones all coming out from the center point. So little flicks, and just deal with one leaf at a time. And then where there's something hiding behind, just put a little shadow in there at that leaf behind, just in the point. And you can see how easy these are to colour as well. They're just so nice to colour, these images. Now there is actually a gap in here, but nobody's going to notice, so don't make life difficult for yourself. Just colour that in. Okay. So that's our darkest colour. So I don't think I'll come back to that colour again. I think we're probably going to be done with that colour. So I'm going to go to RV13, which is kind of my mid colour. And we're just going to go over the top and we're going to add a little bit more. But I don't want to add too much colour. I want plenty of white in here. But we're going to just colour those off there. And obviously, you know, you can spend more time if colouring's your thing. I'm sure lots of you are better colourers than I am. Used to be quite good at one time, but not so much anymore. I don't really have a chance to do it much anymore. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to go back over whilst the ink is still wet, and I'm going to actually start to sort of blend this together a little bit more. Now with flowers, I always think it doesn't matter if you actually see your brush strokes, because you know, on flowers you actually have those lines anyway, so it's not essential that you do that. But I like to just start to actually get the ink blending together, because I'm not on, you know, very porous cardstock here, so you know, if I was using watercolor it would blend so easily. Okay, so you could pretty much, I think we've missed a leaf there. Let me just colour that one in there, and I think I've got one. Not sure if that was one there. I don't think it was actually. I think that was it, but never mind. Might have gone wrong there, but it'll be okay. So I've not got a lot of white space there. So what I am going to do is go with my very palest colour, because I've got a bit of blue ink in here. So I'm going to actually use my palest colour, and we don't want that blue to kind of be showing in here. And I'm going to actually use my pale colour to be the blender to actually blend it all together. So we're going to just run that into all of this. Normally I would leave a lot of white space, but I think because I've got the ink there, I need to actually kind of knock the ink away. Gosh, doesn't time fly? So what are you all doing for the weekend? Are you all crafting? Are you having a nice crafty weekend? Have you got barbecues if the weather's nice? What are you all doing? Oh, thank you. That's a really kind thing today. Someone said I've shared a lot of information. I try to. You know, we don't have enough time when we're on TV, and it's quite difficult. So when we do the lives, you know, that's a great opportunity for me to sort of share my knowledge with you. So can you see how that's starting to blend together? And as it dries, it'll get brighter. It's looking a little bit dirty right now. I think it's just the light that isn't particularly good in here today. So I hope you can see it okay. Right, what we need to do now is we need to get some green going on. So that's going to lift it completely. So I'm going to pick a nice bright sort of plant green, and we're going to just add that in here where all the leaves and the foliage is and everything. Take a bit more time. I've just gone over that. Never mind. And so where I've got my leaves, I'm using the same technique, look. So I'm going up from the base, and I want my leaves to still follow the direction. It's about direction, you know, so the leaf's going that way, so colour in that direction. So if this leaf's pointing this way, colour in that direction, because your darkest point is always going to be here in the base of the leaf. So let's get darker colour going in here. We'll just layer this. And I am going to need 2 or 3 greens here, I think. I need to get a bit of depth going on in the back here. So I've got a dark green. And remember, this has got a shadow around here. We want some shadow going on. This wants to be quite dark in here. Do you know, I love colouring. Just don't get enough time to do it anymore. But every time I colour with you guys, I kind of go, oh yeah, I remember why I used to love it so much. So into there, and you can colour half a leaf a different colour if you want to get a bit of, that'll give you a little bit of depth and dimension, so it starts looking like the leaf actually has a fold. And the same there. And again, by making that one darker, it kind of starts to look as if it's sitting underneath this one. So once we'll go back in here and go quite dark. And we could go much darker still, I think, there. I don't know if I've got much, I have got a darker one actually. I'm going to go with this. I've got a greeny, you know, very much this is G46. This is really dark. This is going to really enable us to get a bit of dimension. So all those little bits that are right at the back, get that in there. Look at how much dimension that's given us there now, how much depth. And run that up the stalk too, to make the stalk look like it's cylindrical. The same here. And on that one. And then we'll just add a little bit more of that there. It's going around there. And we're going to come back and actually blend this. That's lovely. That was just a nice green. And so I'm going to go back to my brightest green. I think it's the brightest one. I don't know if it is actually. I think this one is. And we're just going to go back over and blend all of those together, all those greens nicely together. How many of you have still got pro markers? I'm having a clear out, and oh my goodness, the amount of pro markers I've got in here is ridiculous. Not to mention lots of other markers, as you will all know. So that's our leaves done. And then all I want to do is kind of use a nice kind of creamy yellow colour in here. And do you know what I do? I'm going to actually, I don't know if you can see it on there, but I'm going to actually do this. I want to just run some yellow into here to make it, I feel like this is a little bit flat, this flower. Look how nice that looks. If you just add a bit of yellow, yellow is a fab colour. Do you know, I used to not like yellow, and it isn't because I didn't like it. I just used to, there's certain yellows I don't like. I'm not keen on acidic yellows, but I've become such a fan of it lately because it's just got magical properties. So look how it's lifted that and given it some extra dimension. And then the other thing you can do with a yellow is you can completely change the colour of your greens by adding a yellow over the top, because obviously blue and yellow make green, so they're always, a yellow will always work with a nice green. So I'm just going to go in here with an orange as well, and we want to actually make this look like it's like an actual three-dimensional object. So I'm going to just blend that. Just blend that harsh light. Now, that looks fab. And then all I'm going to do is go back with my light colour, because we added that, or that yellow in there. I just want to blend that in a little bit. And you don't have to be perfect, because the image is nice and big. You know, we don't have to spend ages messing around with shadows and highlights and all of that, because we've got room for the pen to maneuver. You know, it's a lot different to actually colour in with something really, really tiny and small. And then what I want to do, we're pretty much done, but just to finish off, all I want to do, because we've got this, it's like a very dull, this speckled egg. What I want to do is I'm going to go in with, I've got like an aqua pen here, look. So this is BG32. And I just want to lift this a little bit. So I'm going to just come around and I'm going to just outline. Not everything. I'm not going to go on the top, I'm just going to do it underneath the leaves here. So we're just going to outline. I'll put a little bit around here. And actually I will go in there. And it's just a really nice colour to blend in with the speckled egg. Just seems to work quite nicely. But I'm also going to get a lighter version of that. So that was BG32. I'm going to go to BG11, which is a lighter version, just so that I can blend it out a little bit as well. And that'll actually help me blend it into, can you see how it's blending? I know it looks a bit patchy, but it's actually drying a lot lighter in real. I think it looks worse on screen actually, but in front of me, it actually looks really nice. So it just blends that in. And if you feel that that looks, you see that looks really dark and it doesn't in front of me, it actually looks okay. And what I might do, I just want to, where's it gone? Just bear with me while I go around. There we go. So I'm going to grab my white Posca pen, just because it is quite heavy. I think I've been a bit heavy-handed with my ink there, maybe. And what I might do is just down here at the bottom, because it's kind of going off at a bit of an angle there, I might just add just a little bit more. I did actually do a different version of this yesterday and I was a bit softer, and I think I've just been a bit heavy-handed. It was because I was sitting down while I was inking. So I'm going to get my Posca. Yes, many pro markers, Lynn. Yeah, I know. And I'm just going to add some dots, and this will really break it up, and it'll really detract it. So this is a really great tip if you've gone a bit heavy-handed on your background and it's a bit dark and you sort of think, oh, looks a bit sludgy. Just go in and add some white dots, and it will totally lift what you're doing. And then concentrate them at the sort of in the darker areas. Feed them right out so that it doesn't look like you're trying to cover something up. Just sort of feed them right up so that it's white on white. So you're going right into your actual card. I don't think you can see it, but I can here. And can you see now how it's completely changed that? Just adding those white dots, and it's really, really lifted it without having to do anything else. So let me just, oops, actually I will zoom right in for you so that you can see it close up. Can't go any further in. So it's just a really good tip just to knock that back, and it is actually going lighter as it's drying, so you can't see that here because it is the light. I haven't got much overhead light today for some reason, even though it's a really bright day. Isn't it weird how all the light affects things? So I've done that one today, and then I want to show you the one that I did yesterday because it's exactly the same but slightly different. So same image, smaller card, and I actually made it much bigger, and just colouring it in a completely different colour just completely changes it. So this was what I meant to do today, but actually I still really like this because yesterday I was supposed to colour it in these colours. Today I was supposed to make it this size and do it in these colours. So I've kind of gone the opposite way on both days. So let me see your comments and what you've been up to and what you've been saying. And there was another thing that I wanted to show you. Where's it gone? Do you know, I think I've lost it. Yeah, I have. The other thing is, when you're doing your oh no, it's here, look, just before I turn the camera on. Actually, I will. I want to see you now. Let me see you. Just sit down again. My camera's behaved today as well. Yay, there you are. So, let me hold this up so you might be able to see it a bit better. Look how it looks totally different on that camera. Whoops, where am I going there? So it is, as you can see, it's a lot lighter than it was actually looking on the bench. So it is really pretty, and it's got lighter as the Copics have dried and as the ink's dried. It's got much lighter. And then here's the other one, so you can see the difference. Both really pretty, aren't they? I love these. I absolutely love these cards. I'm actually going to cut these out and send them to somebody. I've got birthdays coming up soon. But just one last thing I wanted to show you that I forgot to show you when I was sharing my screen earlier. So I'll do it just like this because my words actually gone down. So I was telling you earlier that I was actually printing out the backing papers. So you get these backing papers with that particular bloom set. So this is, I think it's just called Blooms 2. I think it's Blooms 2 or 3 on the website. So in Word, make your own inserts. So I just brought in 2 backing papers, and like we did with the blue rectangles, I did the same thing with my backing papers. So I now have an insert look as well. So printed insert, and you can take that one step further by actually making a really lovely decorative insert as well. So again, I took what I'd done there, and then I actually made my blue box white. Whoops, where am I going? There. I'm on the wrong thing. Here. Can't work backwards today. So I made my blue box white, made it bigger, added my sentiment over the top, and then added a colour digi here. So it makes this really nice. And obviously that's size for an A5 or a 5x7. But that makes a really lovely insert. And you could actually put this is when you need Word to actually actually type out your proper message that you want, so that you can make that really heartfelt message for that person. And can you imagine how nice it is if you get a really personalized card but looks really professional? And I'll tell you what, this week I actually got caught out this week with birthday, and I had to use one of those online sites to send it next day because I didn't trust that it was going to go. And Moonpig and Funky Pigeon, they're just horrendous. I don't care. They're just terrible. And, you know, I must have spent an hour and a half trying to actually find a nice card to send. In the time, I could have made one, and I could have actually made it and got in the car and driven there with it. But it was 40 miles away, so I wasn't going to do that. But, you know, they're just terrible. And all they're doing is a really poor version of what we can do with DigiStamps. That's all it is. And, you know, I was doing it and I just thought, this is horrendous. I would rather literally make a digital card and email it to her, to be honest. And it would look way better than anything that I paid, about £4.25, I think I paid for it in the end. And, you know, it just pains me that card prices out there are astronomical these days. So anyway, I hope you've liked those. I hope I've given you some inspiration for the weekend. And before I forget, don't forget, well, I don't know if you've seen, just hold those up again. I've got to hold them up again because I love them. I think they're really pretty. Let me hold them there, that one there, and that one there. I just think they're so pretty. I think it's the colours as well in those, but it's because the images are so big. They just like really jump out and are completely different. And it's kind of a modern take on quite a traditional stamp. So don't forget that I've just launched it actually. I think the email's just gone out in the last hour or so. But we've got amazing deals on the website for the weekend for bank holiday. So you can get 20% off all craft supplies. So stamps, stencils, dies, papers, everything, ink pads. If you want distress inks, go and get 20% off. Ribbon, twine, all that stuff, 20% off. And I think the code is craft20, craft20. And also, we gave you a big Digi Tuesday code this week, and we're actually extending that for the weekend. So over the weekend, from now until midnight Monday, these offers are. If you use code weekend40 in uppercase, you will get 40% off all your downloads this weekend until Monday night. So really take advantage of those discounts, because we don't often discount craft supplies. I know we do it on Digis quite a bit, but craft supplies in the store we don't often discount. We have a lot of new stock coming in. We're trying to make some room on the shelves. The warehouse is full. So we're having to make some room. So take advantage of those discounts. Yeah, the blue one, it is different, because you wouldn't think about really doing blue flowers necessarily, would you? But I actually prefer this one. I think it's really, really pretty. And it's because the blue goes with the background ink and with the flowers. So it's that tones of blue. This one would have looked nicer, I think, if I'd have made the background pink and done the background pink. I think that's part of the thing, is that this is very tonal, and I think that's why it works. So, right, okay, we're at an hour. Hopefully I haven't waffled on too much. Hopefully I've shown you some things that are going to help you. I'm just going to go back. A simple card and stunning. It is very, very simple. Someone's going to be using Copics on the Rosebud collection. That's an oldie but a goodie. There's a lot of things in there, a lot of florals in there to be colouring as well. Elaine needs to do some gardening after she's made an anniversary card. Kelly can't wait to try the ink blending in the beginning. Yeah, definitely go for it. I mean, you can do it after you've coloured, but personally, I prefer to do it before, because if you do decide you don't like it, you'll know straight away. So if you've put your ink down first and then start to colour, you can be colouring and within 2 minutes you'll go, oh no, actually I don't like that. And you can start from scratch. So rather than spending an hour or half an hour, whatever it is, colouring and then apply your ink, once you've applied your ink, that's it. You're kind of done and you've ruined your colouring. So do it the other way around. Do your ink first and your colouring later. Of course, you can mask as well. So that's the other thing to remember. Oh, do you know? And that's actually another really, really... I think I need to think about that. I've just had an idea, but I don't know if I'm overcomplicating it and whether it'll work. I'll come back to that another time. Remind me next time, say, that idea you had, did it work? And I won't remember what it was. So anyway, thank you all so much for joining me. Yeah, cards are much more expensive and definitely not as lovely as the ones we create. They really are not. Even the shop bought ones. I went into, I went in Marks and Spencer's maybe about 6 weeks ago. I think it was for Mother's Day actually, and I was looking at Mother's Day cards and they were atrocious. They were horrendous. Marks and Spencer's, if you're going to get a nice card, you're going to get one from there. They were awful, really awful, and they were all like £5-6 each. Terrible, just don't work. Right. It is time for me to go. Someone's just made it here. I'm sorry, I can't see all of your names. It's not actually showing me all the names. So I don't know who it is that's late, but thank you for joining us. And there will be a recording of this. It has gone on to YouTube, so it should be there, I think. And I've got a recording anyway, so if it doesn't, I will actually upload it later. So enjoy your long crafty weekend, everyone. I will be working all weekend. I can't tell you on what, but I know you're going to love it. And they will be coming up very soon. So here in Canada, for a brand name card, you're looking at $10. Yeah, and more, because if that's Canadian dollars, I think that's quite cheap actually, because compared to the pound, I think pretty much ours would probably be around about, well, depends what it is. If it's a nice one with layering and the ones that they say are handmade or hand finished, which is just literally someone sticking something on, I think really you're probably in Canadian dollars, you're probably talking about £15 here. So maybe ours are even more expensive. I don't know. Right. Thank you all so very much. I'm going to let you go. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. And I will see you next week. Don't forget to use those 2 codes. If you forget the code, don't worry. They're there on the website across the top of the page. So I hope you can go and find lots of crafty bargains and take advantage of those great deals. Thanks so much. And I will see you next week. Bye for now. I'm going to try and work out how to switch this thing off now. Bye.